Hello, everyone, and welcome to an episode of Matthew's Sports Talk. Sorry I've been away for a while. Just haven't been really able to get in front of the laptop, but that just means more to talk about. So this will be one episode that I'll be posting. And then the next episode will be my Minnesota Twins postseason analysis. Have a lot to talk about there. So let's start right off the bat. Just such a disappointing loss for the Vikings. And it's really frustrating because this was a game that I was not expecting the Vikings to really be contending in. I really thought the Seahawks were going to be wiping the floor with us. But our defense played well for the most part. Our offense played well for the most part. It's just, I don't know what to say. But I think if I was to sum it all up, I would say, sorry, I was just checking something really quick there. Defense, you can't give up 94 yards and surrender the game like that. I don't care if it's Russell Wilson. I don't care if it's Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers. I don't give a shit. You can't give up 94 yards to lose that game. And, I mean, yes, I go back to the fact that, okay, Zimmer did not kick a field goal for it, but it's 4th and 1 at Seattle's 6-yard line. So, normal logic suggests that if you don't get the score or don't get the first down, you pin them very, very deep into their own territory. So it's a good chance that they're not going to drive down for a touchdown. And if you do, then it's an 8-point game, and they still get a chance to get the ball back and tie it up. So I completely agree with what Zimmer called by going for it on 4th down. And, yeah, once again, it's just, game I wasn't expecting them to be in. They were in it until the very end. And, it's like, next season when the NFL schedule comes out, because I do believe, I have to double check. Let me double check really quickly here. 2021 NFL season. Just a minute, I'm going to have to... Next season, they will be taking on Seattle, but hopefully they'll be at home. So that's that will definitely, hopefully, help things because, goddamn, I hate when we go to Seattle. I hate it. I really feel like NFL scheduling needs to be more fair. I think this is like the 4th year in a row we've gone to Seattle. So, yeah, I think that's absolute bullshit. But, on a positive note, next week we play the Atlanta Falcons. I'm not saying it's a guaranteed win, but if we don't win that game, then shit's really, really bad. So yeah, so I am actually a couple weeks behind, in the NFL, but let's just focus on what's happened this week so far. So actually there's still 2 games left to be played, and that is, 2 weeks left to play a Monday night game and a Tuesday night game. Monday night game is the Chargers at the Saints. And the Tuesday night game is the Bills at the Titans, which should be a good game. But let's review what happened so far this week. Going back to Thursday night, the Chicago Bears beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 20-19. Okay, now this is what a reverse of what happened in this game. Vikings and Seahawks happened. So I watched the game, and the Arizona got down, and it was 4th down on Chicago's 7-yard line, and they decided to go for a chip shot field goal. Now what happens on the subsequent drive is Chicago drives the ball down, kicks a field goal, ends up winning the game. So that's where I say, Bruce Arians, you screwed up and you lost the game for your team. So, and outside of that, Tom Brady, not saying the decline is here, buddy, but it's starting. So yeah. Going back to earlier today, a game that I watched, the Raiders at the Chiefs. The Chiefs gained their first loss of the season. And there's no way you pin this one on Mahomes and the offense. They did what they were supposed to do today. Did they look bad at times? Yes. But mainly because they were forced into doing some things that they're not normally doing, which is playing from behind. Your defense just gave up too many big plays. So, yeah, you're gonna have you're gonna have to have a little talk with your defense there. Panthers beat the Falcons 23-16. Not surprising there. And finally, Dan Quinn got fired. So, who knows? Next week, maybe, what happened. The Texans won this week after they fired their coach last week. So maybe you might win this week. But then again, you're playing us, the Minnesota Vikings. So, I don't think so. But, yeah, no, I don't think so. The Cardinals beat the Jets 30-10. Finally after 2 straight weeks of going down, the Cardinals are going back up. And the Jets, as I predicted, continue to be the worst team in the NFL. And that is a fact. The Steelers beat the Eagles 38-29. I'll still say this. I still think the Steelers are the best team right now in the AFC North. I really do think that. Yeah. So, and the Eagles, sadly enough, at 1-3-1, are not atop of the NFC East anymore. But we'll get to that later. Rams beat the Washington football team 30-10. Not surprising. Ravens beat the Bengals 27-3. Not surprising. And Joe Burrow, for once, looked really, really bad in the game. So, but then again, how else are you supposed to look playing the Ravens? Texans, as I said, gained their first win over the Jaguars 30-14. Here's a shocker. Dolphins beat the 49ers 43-17. I think the 49ers are in serious trouble. I think they're even in more trouble than my Minnesota Vikings. Jimmy Garoppolo coming back from injury looked really, really bad. And yeah, this is a defense that is supposed to be one of the best in the league, giving up 43 points to the Dolphins. That's not good. So I think the 49ers have a serious problem on their hands. And right now, it proves it. They're at the bottom of the NFC West, which, albeit probably the best division in football, still pretty bad. Cowboys beat the Giants 37-34. I started this game going crazy that the Giants were actually leading this game, and for the most part, were in control of this game. My excitement turned into deep sorrow and regret. Dak Prescott, really, really bad ankle injury. I think they reported it as a compound fracture. So he is probably out for the rest of the season, if not longer, which is just so sad. I hate the Cowboys in principle. That doesn't necessarily mean I hate the players on their team. I always respect. I'll hate as a Vikings fan and as a football fan in general. I hate the Packers, obviously. I hate the Bears. I hate the Lions. I hate the Seahawks because of their stupid 12-man, which luckily enough was not in action tonight. I hate the Saints. That who dat mentality, so stupid. And then of course I hate the Cowboys. Because America's football team, whatever. You can suck my. I'm not gonna say that, but oh yes, and I also hate the Patriots because they have won so much, but that might be subsiding this year. So yes, I hate the Cowboys because they think they're America's team, but I still respect players. I'll respect Aaron Rodgers. I'll respect Dak Prescott, etc. So when a player goes down like that, it was, and I was watching the game. It was bad. Probably in like the Teddy Bridgewater level of severity, where he'll be out for the remainder of the season, and it will affect him in the seasons to come. So, yes, Cowboys get the win, and at 2-3 are on top of the NFC East, but the future is very, very clouded, sadly enough. Colts and the Browns. Browns winning 32-23. Browns are 4-1 for the first time, I think, in over 20 years, which, I mean, this is a weird NFL season. And next week they are playing the Steelers, so that should be actually a good matchup. So yeah. That wraps up. And then the two remaining games Monday night tomorrow. Chargers at the Saints. Michael Thomas is out again. Not because of his injury though, because of an altercation with a teammate. So on one of my fantasy teams, I decided to chuck him off. I mean, I don't care if he goes out and absolutely balls for the remainder of the season. You missed 4 games, and you're supposed to be my number 1 wide receiver. I mean, come on, man. So, I got Cooper Kupp and Cole Beasley in return, so I'm very, very happy about that. And, I think that those two guys will mitigate whatever loss I have with Thomas. And there was actually, and then, of course, Bills Titans Tuesday night. There was actually one game that was pushed back because of the Patriots and the Broncos got pushed back a week because of another positive test with Patriots. So yeah, that sums up Week 5 in the NFL. Let's go to the Week 5 power rankings. Now, this is ahead of Week 6, so obviously there will be some changes. But before this week started, this is what the rankings were. So I emphasized before this week started. So at number 32 there was the New York Jets, 31 the Giants, number 30 is the Atlanta Falcons, 29 Detroit Lions, 28 Denver Broncos, 27 Jacksonville Jaguars. Sorry if I'm going through this fast. These rankings are essentially relevant because they're going to change. 26 Washington, 25 Cincinnati, 24 Chargers, 23 Texans, 22 Dolphins, 21 Cowboys, 20 Vikings, 19 Cardinals, 18 Eagles, 17 Bears, 16 Raiders, 15 Browns, which the Browns were the highest jump from Week 4 to Week 5. They jumped up 7 spots. And the biggest decrease, continuing on, number 14 Panthers, number 13 Patriots were the biggest decrease. They were down 4 spots from number 9 to number 13. Number 12 Saints, number 11 Titans, number 10 Colts, number 9 49ers, number 8 Rams, number 7 Buccaneers, 6 Ravens, 5 Steelers, 4 Bills, 3 Seahawks, 2 Packers, and 1 Chiefs. Now, obviously, there's going to be a change. The Chiefs will be dropping down from number 1 because of their loss. And I do kind of have the rankings for Week 6 kind of filled out already. We're still pending a few games, but Let's start at the bottom. Still remaining at number 32, the Jets. They lost, so. At number 31, down from number 30, is the Atlanta Falcons. Because of their loss, and because they had to fire their head coach. At number 30, the New York Giants, up from number 31. So even though the Giants did lose, I felt like they earned a one-spot jump because they played well against the Cowboys. They were almost in a position to win it. So, yeah. Staying pat at number 29 on their bye week is the Detroit Lions. Yeah, I didn't feel the need to move them because of what happened. Number 28 down from number 27 is the Jacksonville Jaguars. At number 27 down from number 26, the Washington Football Team. At number 26 down from number 25 is the Bengals. Then at number 25 up from 28, even though they were on their bye, the Denver Broncos. I hate moving teams up when they're on their bye, especially up 3 spots, but the 3 teams ahead of them I felt were just bad enough where I had to move them up. And so that's the bottom half that I have so far. So it all really depends on what happens. But I can tell you this, there are going to be some, most teams are going to end up moving up. The Eagles at number 18 will be moving down. The Vikings, even though they lost, I feel like they deserve to be moved up because of how they played against the Seahawks. You go in to Seattle and you almost beat Russell Wilson. So, yeah. And then, yes, there will be a new number 1. And I will state this outright. I already have decided based on today's performances. Even though that they were on their bye week, I feel like the new number 1 team in the NFL. I hate to say this, but I think the new number 1 team in the NFL is the Green Bay Packers. I was thinking if the Seahawks beat the Vikings well enough that they would be the new number 1, but not after what I saw. Not after the fact that we almost could have beaten the Seahawks. I'm not going to put them at number 1. I put the Packers at number 1. So, yeah. And then really, it's all going to come down to the Bills and Titans game. If Bills lose, then what will probably happen is the Seahawks will go up to number 2 and the Chiefs will fall to number 3. And then Steelers number 4, Ravens number 5. If the Bills win, it all depends on how the game goes. If the Bills win running away, then I might put the Bills at number 2 and keep the Seahawks at number 3. So it all really depends. So moving on, let's do a quick fantasy check. So quickly touching base, for my fantasy baseball team, this was a couple weeks ago, but I was in the championship game for my fantasy baseball team, and it all came down to the last day of the regular season. Sadly enough, I was maxed out. If I could have gained points using pitchers, I probably would have won it, but there is a max on how many points pitchers can get in a week, or how many how many total points your pitchers can make in a week. So, yep, that is that. So right now, my 2 teams are actually winning. My 2 football teams are. My primary squad, the Minneapolis Skull Squad, is up 108-99. And, I will definitely be winning that game because the other guy has no other players. And the only other, I have the Saints defense, but they would have to get negative 10 points. So, I hope to God that they can get at least, a point or something against the Chargers. But my big guys on that team, Mahomes, 29.7 points. And Chase Edmonds, also 20.2 points, running back for the Arizona Cardinals. But, I got A couple other guys in double digits. Chris Carson, 19.9 points. Tyreek Hill, 18.3, and Sammy Watkins, 10.4. So, all very good. Then moving over to my Minnesota Kings team, I'm winning 81-73, and yep, I will definitely be winning that game because I still have 3 more players left to play, and that guy has none. So 3 big point guys. Deshaun Watson, 24.86 points. I think it's Myles Gaskin. Yep, Myles Gaskin, the running back for the Miami Dolphins, 20.1 points. And my man, Adam Thielen. Adam Thielen. Even though in a loss, 29.3 fantasy points. So, and some interesting news. This one is called the Minnesota Kings, and this is the team that has Michael Thomas on it. So, yep, I did trade him, and I will be getting Cooper Kupp and Cole Beasley in return. So, Cooper Kupp will probably be my number 2 receiver for the remainder of the season, behind Thielen. And I might be ending up benching Zach Ertz. So, actually, I have 2 pending moves. One of them, I also proposed a trade. The trade where I got Cooper Kupp and Cole Beasley was a trade that they proposed. So, and the trade I proposed was sending a whole lot of players. Zach Ertz, Sammy Watkins, Malcolm Brown, and Keelan Cole Sr., and I was going to receive Dalvin Cook. Highly doubt that's going to happen, but hey, you never know. Then on my other side, I have 3 pending moves. 1 waiver claim. I am going to add Derek Carr and drop Joe Burrow. So Derek Carr will be most likely my number 3 quarterback moving forward. That is if the trade proposed that. So I have 2 trade proposals that I proposed on that team. One of which is I trade away Rex Burkhead, Eric Ebron, and Dalton Schultz and get Travis Kelce. And the other one is I trade Sammy Watkins, Keelan Cole Sr., and Deshaun Watson and get Aaron Jones. I made the second trade to get Aaron Jones and send Deshaun Watson right after the Dak Prescott injury, because the team that I'm proposing this to has Dak Prescott on it, and he has no backup quarterback, so I feel like he can plug in Deshaun Watson and he can just run with it, and in return I get really, really good running back in Aaron Jones. So, because then I would have Chris Carson and Aaron Jones at running back, which would be spectacular. So, yep, that's a little fancy rundown. And now let's just quickly talk about the rest of the sports. NHL, I think the Tampa Bay Lightning won the Stanley Cup a couple weeks ago. Whatever. Don't care. But tonight also happened, and I wanted to watch this, but, I gotta watch my Vikings. LeBron James wins another NBA title as the Lakers beat the Miami Heat 4-2. And I watched a couple of the games for the NBA Finals, and I would have to say this. Yes, LeBron is great, but I felt like Jimmy Butler, if the Heat would have won these series, would have been the MVP hands down. He played like man gone wild. And there was an interesting clip. I have to bring this up because I felt like this definitely sums it up, because there's always been the debate, is LeBron now the greatest of all time in the NBA over Michael Jordan? And my man Stephen A. Smith had a perfect response to that. I'm going to pull it up for you guys as soon as I find it. pretty good.
And what I find most egregious, most blasphemous about Isaiah Thomas's statement is that he ignores the era he was playing in, as far as I'm concerned. It was very physical. It was very volatile. It was an era made for the Kendrick Perkins of the world, for crying out loud. I'm talking about banging bodies, Jordan rules, people getting assaulted and only getting called for a foul, having a foul called against the person that assaulted them, as opposed to today where you can get ejected for having bad breath. And LeBron James at 6'9", 260 pounds, is playing in the softest era we have ever seen in NBA basketball. The fact that Isaiah Thomas ignores that is beyond me. Floor is yours. Errors, Matt.
So yeah, I agree with him 100%. I definitely feel like the era that Michael Jordan played in was way more physical. You can get away with a lot more. And yeah, I mean this era that LeBron James is playing, I would say LeBron James is the greatest of all time in this era. But he's not the greatest of all time because of the fact that this era is a lot less physical. Fouls are called more often, and there's a lot less you can get away with. So yeah, I would say that sums up my Matthew Sparks talk for this episode. But stay tuned because I will have my Minnesota Twins postseason analysis. Well, it's actually season and postseason analysis coming up. If it's not posted tonight, it will definitely be posted tomorrow. So watch out for that. Until then, Matthew Hamlin signing off.